So, hello guys, today we are going to talk about the ascending tract summary. So, I made this video for you guys to sum up all the ascending tracts in one video. Okay, so let's get started. So, here I made a flow chart for you guys. So, see, ascending tract can be major and minor, and major can be divided into two types. So, first say ascending tract. Okay, so when I saying ascending, it means all the nerves are ascending towards the brain. Now it has to end somewhere, so we have two locations. Okay, one is our cerebral cortex and another is our cerebrum. So cerebellum, so cerebral cortex and cerebellum. So these are the two locations where the fiber can end up. So according to this, the major tract can be two types. One is cerebrum, another one is cerebellum. So let's say cerebellum. Okay, so cerebellum. Now see, we divided this two part according to the end point. Okay, but you know, fibers are coming from downside. So according to the downside, we are going to divide. So in case of cerebrum, we say it can be dorsal, lateral, anterior. So focus here. This is our spinal cord section, and here you see the posterior side, this one, and this is anterior side, and you are viewing from superiorly. And you guys already know this is our dorsal white column, lateral white column, anterior white column. Clara? So according to this, so let's see, the fibers are moving from anterior to whatever, maybe cerebrum or cerebellum. Okay, if the fibers are coming from anterior white column, we say anterior maybe say anterior spinothalamic tract for an example. If the fibers are coming from lateral side, we say lateral maybe thalamic or cerebellum. And if the fibers are coming from posterior white column, or we say dorsal white column, so we can say posterior or dorsal spinothalamic tract, for example. So now you can guys easily decode this thing. So endpoint is cerebrum. So we have our dorsal spinothalamic tract, anterior spinothalamic tract, and lateral spinothalamic tract. Claro? And for cerebellum again. And in the case of cerebellum, you see, what is written here first? Focus here. What is written here? Dorsal spinocerebellar tract, ventral spinocerebellar tract, and cuneo-cerebellar tract. But what is the interesting thing you have to remember? So let's go one by one first. So let's first draw our whole this cerebellar tracts. Okay. So let's say this is, you guys know, this is our dorsal root ganglion, and dorsal root always carries the sensory information. And this is one fiber coming from our dorsal root, okay? And from dorsal root, if I say fibers are ending up to a dorsal column. So in the dorsal column, you know, we have two columns like this. Okay, and the medial one is known as fasciculus gracilis and lateral fasciculus cuneatus. Fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus. Same thing will happen from the other side. So what is the difference in this two fasciculus? So fasciculus gracilis, the middle one carries information from lower limb. So this is our legs, and the lateral one carries information for upper limb, hands. This is the information. Okay, so you guys know, okay, I know in the spinal level what is happening in the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, dorsal spinothalamic tract. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the other one. Other one was, so we have a lateral and anterior left. For an instance, let's say, same thing will happen here. One fiber is coming like this. So you see, this is our ipsilateral. Ipsilateral means if you divide this into one half. So if this is right, so right side fibers are coming in the right part of the column. But what is contralateral? Now you see, this is the first order neuron. Now this first order neuron is terminating in the dorsal gray horn, and the second order neuron is coming like this contralaterally and coming to where? Yes, to the lateral white column, then ascending like this. Okay? And the second thing can happen, for an instant, let's say here is another neuron coming like this. First order neuron terminating, second order neuron coming like this, coming contralateral and ending up to anterior white column and coming like this. So, I told you guys that we have dorsal spinothalamic tract. So, this one, fibers coming to the dorsal, fasciculus cuneatus, fasciculus gracilis, going upward, dorsal spinothalamic tract. Okay? Second, lateral spinothalamic tract. So, first order neuron coming, ending up here, second order neuron crossing to the opposite side, contralaterally, coming to the lateral side, then moving upward. So, dorsal. So, this is our lateral spinothalamic tract. Now, again, one fiber is coming like this, terminating here, second order neuron coming contralaterally and ending up to the anterior white column, and from anterior white column it's moving upward. So this is our anterior spinothalamic tract. No doubt about that, right? Now, so in the so we are going to see all this section first in the spinal cord level. Now you see in the cerebellum. So what will happen in the cerebellum? So same thing we will do here. So we say we have dorsal spinocerebellar tract, ventral spinocerebellar tract, and cuneo-cerebellar tract. But what is the interesting thing here you have to notice? So this is what, so this section is our lateral white column. So if I divide this lateral white column like this, so this portion will be what? This portion will be our dorsal, and this portion will be our ventral, or you can say posterior or anterior. Yes. Now, if you guys are comfortable with this, let's say one fiber is coming now. Okay, one fiber is coming, then it's going to what? So first, here it is written that dorsal spinocerebellar tract. So dorsal means posterior. Yes. So dorsal means posterior, and posterior. So if I make this section like this, so it will end up to where? It will end up to the dorsal portion of the lateral white column, and it's going ipsilaterally, and now it is ascending upward. Okay, let's make it small. So it is ascending upward. So lateral, so our dorsal is done. Now say ventral spinocerebellar tract. This is one interesting fellow, because what he does, for instance, let's say this is another fiber coming like this. Now it's terminating here, and now second order neuron is coming, and now second order neuron is crossing contralaterally and ended up to where? To the anterior part of the lateral white column. Okay, now this fellow will ascend upward. Claro? So you guys know how to draw this tracts, these 6 tracts, right? Claro? Now, so for this minor tracts, it is not necessary for you guys to know, but I will tell you later. For now, you have to remember this section. Okay? And last we are left with cuneo-cerebellar tract. In cuneo-cerebellar tract, it is another interesting fellow. Let's say one fiber is coming like this. This is his ganglion, and it's going like this. So it's going ipsilaterally to fasciculus cuneatus, then moving upward. and where? In the dorsal right column. So you guys know the location in the spinal cord level, how you are going to draw this thing. Why it is important? Why it is important? For an instance, if a person is having, say, in lateral right column, maybe any trauma or any tumor is compressing this lateral region, so you guys know what kind of dysfunction that person will show. You know, if this column is damaged in trauma or any tumor is compressing, you guys know what the problem that person will face. Okay, when you are talking about problem, let's say what are the function of this tract. So we know, let's say first according to this chart, so fibers, major tracts, fibers which are going to our cerebrum. And remember one thing, the fibers which are going to cerebrum, those are conscious fiber, you know, conscious fiber. You can feel it, you can sense it, you are active at that time. But fiber which are going to cerebellum, that are unconscious. So those signal will be unconscious signal. Let's give some example first. So fibers which are going to cerebellum, we say dorsal spinothalamic tract. So what are the functions? Again, 2-point discrimination, vibration, proprioception, all the high or you can say advanced signal, sensory signal are going from dorsal. Now say lateral. So lateral is, so dorsal, come here. So this is our dorsal. So dorsal is taking what? 2-point discrimination, sharp pain, proprioception, vibration, this kind of information. Now say lateral, in lateral white column, which are going to cerebrum or cerebral cortex. So which are the PT? Remember, pain and temperature. Pain, definitely dull pain. And this anterior one is doing crude touch. Okay, crude touch. So we are done with the function. Now say function of cerebellum. So when I say cerebellum function, okay, so cerebellum is unconscious. First point. Second point, cerebellum always do what? Balancing. Okay, so balancing. So we have our anterior or ventral spinocerebellar tract. So remember, it receives the muscular tone information from our torso and neck muscles. Clara? Now say a ventral is done. Now say dorsal or posterior one. So posterior one takes this proprioceptive information from the lower limb. Clara? Now we left with cuneo-cerebellar tract. Cuneo-cerebellar tract takes proprioceptive information from this upper limb. So this is the information you have to remember. So you are done with the spinal cord level. Now remember what happens. Now let's focus in our previous one. First we will talk about our dorsal white column. And the fibers, these fibers which are coming or moving upward like this to where? To this brain. Now you know this is our medulla oblongata, this is our pons, this is our midbrain. Now in the level of pons, you know you have 4 nucleus like this. And this 4 nucleus, okay, these 4 nucleus as corresponding nucleus. So you can say this is fasciculus gracilis nucleus, same thing will happen here, and this is fasciculus cuneatus nucleus. Now this fiber, this all fiber will terminate here. So first order neuron are terminated here like this. Now second order neuron will come and cross like this, okay, in this line, okay. So this is known as what? Arcuate fiber. Clear? Now these fibers will move like this, and this is known as our medial lemniscus. Medial lemniscus. Now this fiber is, you can find this fiber at the pons level. See here, at the pons level, at the midbrain level, and upper part of the medulla oblongata level. Clear? Now it will end up where? So this is our thalamus, and in the thalamus, you know you have VPL, ventroposterolateral nucleus. So it will end up to here and here Then the third order neuron will come to the posterior limb of this internal capsule. Then it will radiate to where? To our post central gyrus or primary sensory area. Okay, so you guys know this information. Okay, so again, dorsal white column, you say okay, fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus coming to a making word arcuate fibers, then moving upward as a medial lemniscus, then going to where? Ventroposterolateral nucleus, then spreading to where? Yes, posterior limb of internal capsule, then it has a radiation to the primary sensory cortex. Claro. So we are done with our dorso-spinothalamic tract. Good. Now say, if you are done with this, let's move forward. So now let's come to anterior and lateral. So anterolateral spinothalamic tract, why I am saying taking this together, you will understand. So take from here. So you guys know that one fiber from the lateral side will ascend up here, because you guys know the same thing will happen here, and this is from the lateral side, one fiber is ascending and it is a part of what? Lateral spinothalamic tract. And say from anterior spinothalamic tract, this is a what? Second order neurons are coming like this. Okay, and one thing you can remember, in the minor tract there is one spinotectal tract. In the spinotectal tract also come from anterior white column like this. Okay, so which tract we are talking about? Anterolateral spinothalamic tract as well as this what? Spinotectal tract. Remember this, bear with me. So now what will happen? These three tracts will move together like this. So this tract is moving like this. Okay, so let's say this tract is moving like this and this tract is moving like this, but terminating at this level. Why this tract is moving? So this was what? This was our spinotectal tract. And when I say spinotectal tract, tectum is ending up here. This is midbrain, and that's why it will end up here. Spinotectal tract. Now this three tract is together known as our spinal lemniscus. Okay, so this three tract together known as spinal lemniscus. Now what will happen? Now you see these fibers will also go to our ventroposterolateral nucleus in the thalamus, and the second order, so now the third order neuron will come and go to where? Posterior limb of internal capsule, then it will radiate to our sensory cortex. So you guys know when I say okay, anterolateral spinothalamic tract, what we will say, okay, anterolateral spinothalamic tract coming from the dorsal root, crossing contralaterally, fibers are going maybe lateral, maybe anterior, then moving upward to where? At the level of medulla oblongata, those all fibers, anterior fibers, lateral fibers, and anterior fibers of spinotectal tract. These three fibers are coming together and forming what? Spinal lemniscus. So spinal lemniscus is moving upward, then tecto is ending up in the midbrain and it's going to ventroposterolateral nucleus, then going to where? Posterior limb of internal capsule, then radiating to our sensory cortex. So you have to remember like this. So you guys are comfortable with this? So till now, so you have to remember we know two lemniscus. One is medial lemniscus, another one is spinal lemniscus. Okay. So if you are comfortable with this, let's move forward. Now you see we are done with these three or you can say this cerebellum. The fibers are going to cerebellum. These three fibers are done, as well as the spinotectum fibers are done. Now we are end up with cerebellum. Cerebellum is kind of straightforward. Do you know this is one cerebral hemisphere? This is another cerebellar hemisphere. Okay? And you guys know this is our superior cerebellar peduncle. This is our middle and this is our inferior cerebellar peduncle. Same thing will happen in the opposite side. So one can say we have 3 pairs of cerebellar peduncle. Clear? Okay. Now, let's come here. So I already told you to divide the lateral white column into anterior and posterior when you guys are talking fibers ending up to cerebellum. Now see, fibers which are coming from dorsal or posterior will ascend like this. It is simple, and it will go to cerebellum via the inferior cerebellar peduncle and end up towards cerebellum. It is as simple as this. Now, when I told you guys, so this is ipsilateral pathway. You see, fibers are coming from this, from like here, then ending up here, then coming like this. Ipsilateral. All the cerebellar are ipsilateral. Remember this point. Then, let's say once fiber from the ventral or anterior part of the lateral white column is ascending upward like this, but originally it came from where? Contralateral side. Originally it came from where? Contralateral side. Clear? Now what will happen? You see, this fiber will go till the midbrain, and from here through this superior cerebellar peduncle it will come to our cerebellum. Now you see, anterior will be contralateral because fiber were coming from here like this, then moving upward, then ending up this cerebellum. So you say this is contralateral, but sir, previously you told all the tracts ending up to the cerebellum are ipsilateral. Yes. So this fiber made a mistake. That's why from this you see this happening. Okay. So the fiber now cross like this and ending come to the ipsilateral side. Clear? Okay. So you are done with dorsal. You are done with ventral. You can say anterior, posterior. It is easy. So you can say anterior, posterior, spinocerebellar tract is clear. Now we are left with cuneo-cerebellar tract. So what is this? That's it. So I told you guys that, see here, one fiber was coming like this and just going to this fasciculus cuneatus, and along this fasciculus cuneatus is moving upward like this. Now you know we have one nucleus like this, which was fasciculus, accessory nucleus of fasciculus cuneatus. You know, just few minutes previously I told you what is fasciculus cuneatus. So accessory nucleus of fasciculus cuneatus, it end up at the level of medulla oblongata. Then second order neuron will come and moves to via this inferior cerebellar peduncle to cerebellum. So this is our beloved bell. Clear? So we are done with this. So now you guys can easily say, okay, anterior, posterior, spinocerebellar tract and cuneo-cerebellar tract. Let's revise. So what will happen? So fibers are coming and ipsilaterally they are going to posterior segment of the lateral white column and then moving upward and then going where at via the inferior cerebellar peduncle is going to cerebellum. Now fibers are coming, crossing ipsilaterally, then going to where? Anterior part of the lateral white column, then moving upward, then via the superior cerebellar peduncle it is going to cerebellum, then again crossing and coming in the ipsilateral side. And you guys know cuneo-cerebellar tract just coming ipsilaterally, going to fasciculus cuneatus, moving upward, accessory nucleus of fasciculus cuneatus, and then where the inferior cerebellar peduncle is going to cerebellum. Clear? Now we are left with these small fibers. So spino-olivary and spino-reticular. These are nothing, you can just remember, these are all proprioception fibers or related with proprioception signaling. So let's say so you guys know that olivary, so this is our medulla oblongata. So this is our pyramid and olivary. Some fibers are ending up to this olivary nucleus and this is known as spino-olivary. And you guys know in the whole midbrain you see this reticular formation, and some fibers are ending up from the spinal cord to reticular formation, and that fiber is known as spino-reticular tract. So this is all for now. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, comment down below, and please share, subscribe and like this video. Bye.